we didn't even tell you about the night I saw a ghost out in Sacred Ground.
Oh my God! Right. Let's hear that story. So then this is you physically saw something.
I'll send you. I just last month made in Photoshop a picture of it because I've been trying to explain to somebody, and I said I'll make a picture of it. The long and the short, I've only had 3 experiences. I heard somebody walk in backstage when I was back there, and there was nobody walking in.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting in the main room, heard somebody come in, looked around the corner to see who it was, and when I sat back down, this door that was open and did not lock was closed and locked within a 2-second blink of an eye.
Well, that's the thing with the back door too, is we all thought it was closed. It wasn't like propped open. You know, so somebody had to open it for it to fly open like that. And there was no one. They would have to run up the stairs. They would have to run up the stairs like a million miles an hour to get out of there.
Yeah. Well, the thing I saw was an evening. It was between comics, and I was going out to Sacred Ground not to smoke marijuana.
And just to check, just to make sure the hill didn't collapse.
It's a normal fire door with a big, push bar, and then there's a window in the door. Mm-hmm. So when I was walking towards the door, I could see that somebody in a white hoodie was on the other side of the door.
Right.
Just so, somebody standing there in a white hoodie. So I opened the door slowly, and as I opened it, they stepped back up to against the walls where those railroad ties are, keeping the hillside up. And as I got the door completely opened and looked, I realized it wasn't a person in a white hoodie. It was if you could blow a bubble in a perfect outline of a human and stop it about 8 inches from the ground and then fill that bubble with smoke. It was a piece of smoke. The smoke was moving, but it was in this outline of a human. And as I stepped forward towards it, again, just starting to realize that this is not a person, it moved down the alley in a section together. And now the smoke started to drift a little, and it eventually dissipated. But it was a solid smoke shape that I saw move. Now, I turned around and I ran the fuck out the door because my brain couldn't process what I was seeing. As I ran out the door, Tony Hinchcliffe, who was only on the phones back then, he wasn't even a paid regular. Right. Tony was working phones. He was coming outside, and I almost knocked him off running back inside. Later in the night, Tony came to me and he said, "Are you okay? What happened? You looked really weird." And I said, "Tony," and I told him, I said, "Tony, I've just seen a ghost." And he said, "What do you mean?" And I explained it to him. Well, Tony had been working the phones during the day up in the belly room that day when I saw this thing at night. And Tony says to me, "I saw it in the men's bathroom in the belly room today." Well, I was on phones. I went into the bathroom, and it was just right there, a smoke shape in the outline of a person not touching the ground. He said, I turned around and walked back down to the basement bathroom, So
it's weird that you and I, though,
same day.
We saw the same exact spot, though.
Yeah, it wasn't, now most people would see Gus, our resident ghost, who was one of the mob guys, hitman, who actually, who got, he got whacked there back in the day. But people see Gus out of the side of their eye as a guy sitting, solid apparition in 40s clothing. And then when they turn to look, there's no one there. That's how most people see Gus.
I've heard they cut people up in the basement. I've heard all sorts of shit.
They did a lot of fun things.
I heard that they had people buried there. There were people buried there that they had to take out of there.
Supposedly, they kept all the liquor on the 3rd floor, and there was a pulley system out in Sacred Ground that took the liquor up to the 3rd floor. If you notice, there are bars only on the 3rd floor windows because that's where they kept the liquor. So that was important to them.
So people couldn't
and they had this. Yeah, they had this pulley from out in the alley that would, lift the liquor up to the 3rd floor. And on the other side, it looks just like regular office doors. Well, sometimes if the mafia guys didn't feel like physically hurting somebody, they would just say, "Come on upstairs. We need to talk to you. Step into the office." And of course, there were no lights behind the club back then. So it just looked like a dark room. And they'd step out and fall 3 stories and break their legs, and the guy'd be like, pay your bills.
Oh my God.
But they also whacked many people back there too. Yeah.
Yeah. And I like feel like that building's alive, you know, like it's its own entity, you know.
Yeah. Oh, there's a beat. There's a beat when the building's restless. People are restless when it's happy.
Yeah.
Now the past 7 or 8 years ago, we've made just enough little changes and improvements that nobody has really been seeing anything. I think we've sort of changed enough that the ghosts are like, this isn't really my place anymore.
They don't. It's too corporate. It's too corporate.
But up until 8-10 years ago, people were still seeing things at night, or a table move, or a chair.
Well, the weird thing was, I was with 2 other people, and we all thought the same exact thing. We felt like something went through us.
Yeah.
You know, like like it's an indescribable feeling. Like I've never had it since, or before. Like you can't even. How do you even describe that?
Well, like I said, my brain, and even now as I talk about it and I explain,
right? Your mind was trying to make it into.
My brain goes, that is not real. There is an explanation for this. Explanation.
But what?
And then the fact that Tony saw the exact same thing.
Well, look, then, if there are ghosts, I mean, how many hundreds of people died in this building?
There could be many. Yeah, easily lots and lots of spirits there.
All right, how about the guy who jumped off the riot house? How did he ever think he would make it? How did he think he would make it? I dressed up
like him for Halloween one night.
Oh my God, really? What was his name? Steve something, right?
Steve Lebetkin.
Right, and his name got on the wall, right?
I'm not sure if they did. I think he went up to the Hyatt.
But isn't that why he did it?
Because now the Andaz. He hadn't gotten past. He hadn't gotten past yet, and he comes up.
And they would tell this to you when you were trying to get past. They would always tell you this story.
Well, and the note said, "My name is Steve Lebetkin. I was not passed as a page. I forget. I've got it. I made a copy of the note.
Yeah."
I didn't know that. I didn't know there was.
1 year. I didn't know there was a note.
Oh yeah. Wait 1 second. I'll show it to you.
God, you don't have the actual note. You just have what you made.
Oh, I don't have it there. I thought I had the note. That's what I did.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Proving once again, comics, we have really dark senses of humor.
That's perfect.
Now I feel bad,
Why?
Because some of the older comics that know him, when they saw that photo, were like, "That's not funny."
Well, right. No, I mean, I get that.
But you know what I found in my life with all the
honoring,
things?
but you're honoring, really. You're honoring.
I have to laugh to keep from crying.
Yeah.
That's I think, a real simple thing for many comics. We're such odd. Our brains are wired different. We don't fit into society normally. And yet, like I said, we make these horribly tasteless jokes. Joe Rogan was just talking on his podcast about how, horrible comics are to each other, that we say these horrible messed up jokes. And we don't mean it. We hug and kiss and...
comics have like a different relationship, but they have a different relationship than most normal people. And when normal people see it, they're really put off by it.
Yeah.
But here's what I think of it though. Like, comics live down on the ground, and everyone else lives in this bullshit bubble. That's their social media and their pictures of their yearly vacation and all that shit that they project, But comics live down on the ground, and we show them the truth up in the bullshit bubble as the form of a joke, and that's the only way they can take it. But living down here on the ground is not easy. It's not, and we cannibalize, we eat each other, so it's so that's, I think, why they're all so broken. But it's all about the truth. It's that truth. And that's what Mitzi, I think, was after, was that truth. Because even though that's a dark fucking thing, that costume, it's the truth. It's the truth.
Well, comics in the original room will make fun of me having HIV and say shit to the audience about me, and I can take it. I laugh my head off because I'm blessed. I'm alive. I survived. But people in the audience sometimes are mortified. Like,
oh God,
that was not funny, sir. The Karens, the white ladies.
I'll tell you.
I'm going to tell the manager. Oh, we've had so many of those people. And it's like, just shut up and enjoy the show. If you don't like a comic, wait 15 minutes and there'll be a totally different one. Or you're more than welcome to leave.
I didn't even feel welcome till the other comics started riding my ass. You know what I mean? And then you're like, all right, I'm well now. I'm one of them.
A rite of passage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I took it as a good thing.
Well, like we've always said, it's the island of misfit toys from that.
It really is.
Special. That's exactly what the store is. And yet I couldn't be happier that I found this place and that it's my home.
I miss it every day.
My life.
I miss it.
Me too.
And
me too.
But listen, you keep it alive for me by taking all the pictures and and like you were talking about Brody's last set, I watched your video of Brody's last set. And I watched video of a whole bunch of other shit of him just singing just weird songs and you just playing along and so I mean
right.
Yeah,
I've had a good life. For somebody that told me I had 2 years to live, good luck.
Right, you've had like the 40 people's lives in this time.
That's why I can't complain during this pandemic. The store, when we closed, they did a 3-hour benefit with all our famous comics and a fundraiser, and people donated money.
Yeah.
The store was able to pay the entire staff for 3 months, the first 3 months of the pandemic. Whose job did that for them?
Right. Nobody.
I cannot complain. I've had the best.
And then after Brody, I saw a notice that said, if you're a comic and you're having trouble, reach out.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not alone,
Well, I mean,
who does that? Who does that?
Yeah.
Most clubs just grind through.
Peter Shore, Mitzi's son, who runs the club, works in mental health and has been quite an advocate for that. And how many of our comics could we have saved if that had been going on years ago?
Of course.
But that just wasn't a thing. So I think it's wonderful that this is happening. And I do know people behind the scenes that have issues and habits, and they are getting cleaned up. And thank God, because they're still in my life.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose another friend like I did with Brody.
And like, it's so hard to tell that they're even struggling because it seems like they're always struggling. So you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's how do you differentiate that from any other?
Or always kidding.
Right.
With the dark humor.
Yeah.
It's hard to
of course,
to know when somebody's being serious.
Because they say the most horrific things about reality, that most people run from. So how do you differentiate that from, like I said, that booth in the kitchen, I've had the greatest conversations of my life in that booth. Probably, you know what I mean? Yeah. Steve Simone would dole out his wisdom to each of us.
Steve called me last night.
Oh, dude, that guy, you can ask him any question. I think he's the wisest man.
Out of the blue, he called to see how I was doing.
He's the nicest guy. He's the nicest guy.
Called me, and I've had so many comics check in with me during this time. Just how you doing? And I'm like,
well, think about it, dude. You're like they see you every day, and now they're not seeing you. You know what I mean? So they're like,
I miss our guys,
right? Gals. It's a family. It's a dysfunctional family. You know what I mean?
It is. It's
people,
absolutely.
And then people are lost.
Family.
You guys are lost without it. You gotta, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I'm glad to see it. Like I said, the store always finds a way. Whether you're sitting in the parking lot or the comics in the window, like, it's always gonna find a way.